Hi everybody, how are you? I'm here for another video, and I wanted to do a video that I've been thinking about this topic for a while because especially if you've been trying to heal for a long time and you're like, why is it taking so long and what is this all about? I have a lot to say on this because I think that in general, I'm not saying it's not possible to quantum leap. I know a lot of people talk about quantum leaping, and it's like you can just go from here to there. You can just do that. I think of things more in terms of like, I think quantum leaping is like, I think it's not that it's not possible, but I think that like the motivation behind it a lot of the time seems to be outwardly motivated. It's like you're motivated to like just have a lot of money all of a sudden, or to like live in your dream home all of a sudden, or like marry the right person like out of nowhere all of a sudden. It's not that those things can't happen. Like I'm not gonna like, you know me, like I'm all about positive energy. So of course I'm not gonna be like, oh well those things are impossible. It's not true at all. In fact, I think that they're very possible. But I think when it comes to like wanting to create your own healing journey and wanting to like go from here to there, I think sometimes we put expectations on the inner healing and we think it's all about the outer result, not realizing that like the outer results come from the inner healing. Like you wouldn't want, for example, I've thought about this a lot. Um, you wouldn't want to just be in your dream life tomorrow because it would not just be about, and maybe you're saying like, come on, actually I would, but what I'm saying is that for you to be like, let's just pick you up and put you in your absolute dream life tomorrow, like tomorrow, June 14th, Saturday. Like, it would be nice, but it's missing the point because your energy would have to be different for you to be in that scenario. Like, we want the outside things so badly because it just makes us feel better. And it's okay to have things and to have results and to have even like somebody give you money or just getting money or, you know, good things happening. Like, that's beautiful. And that's the masculine, which is the physical world, supporting you. And that's what the masculine does. That's its true nature, is to be supportive of you. But for us to be like thinking that's the whole point is a mistake because that's not what life, like that's not why we're here. If we were here and our measure of true success was the outer things, then the Bible would say very different things. You know, Jesus would have said very different things when he was alive. He would have lived very differently. And it's sort of like an illusion that we live in all the time that, and I think that we all fall prey to, including me, because the physical world is just so real to us. And what I'm saying is that you're not just here to have pretty things. Your pretty things are great, but it's about transformation. It's about change. And I think my favorite people who are successful are people that went from not being in a good place to having an inside change and then having the reality reflect that new energy that they had inside. And I think where a lot of us get really discouraged, and I know what this feels like myself too, it's like, how am I doing so much inner healing work and my reality sucks? And I've felt that many times, but what I've learned from that and going through that process again and again and again, and that's what I have found is the most predictable way to heal, is to look at it as levels. Because the truth is, once you heal past one level, you don't go back, you only go up. And every level is such a big deal because it's like a video game. It's like, you know, that satisfaction of like you beat one level and now you're in another level and you won't go back. Video games are a little different, but in life, you don't go back ever. Like, as a soul, even in future lifetimes, if you come back around again, like, you won't go back to those lower frequency things that you were going through, and you won't have to learn those lessons again. And the work I do with clearing energy is like actually freeing people from those lessons at a really fast speed. It's like you don't have to, like, a lot of that can just be removed and cleared. And I found that through working with like hundreds and hundreds of people over the past like 6 years almost now, that that is a predictable way to change. It's a predictable way to evolve and up level. And the inner work, I don't even like those words because it sounds really fluffy, but like, it's like you have to have faith that the inside change changes your world. It changes the way you look. It changes what happens in your life and the vibe of your life. And I think I like looking at it that way because if you look at it as levels of change and growth and evolution, there's a satisfaction you get every level that you overcome. And especially because you won't go backwards. But it also doesn't put the expectation on you that in that new level you're not going to have new challenges, because you always do, because there's going to be a new level from there. And that's the cool thing actually about positive energy, is that it never ends. It never ends. In heaven, you go to heaven, and that's what heaven is, I believe. It's like just different, like more and more positive frequencies, and it just never ends. There's no ceiling on it. And even I've heard of things in heaven being like certain areas of heaven, and it's like, so there are some areas of heaven that have like a certain high frequency, and there's other ones, and like, and everything's just beautiful, and it's all just positive energy, because we don't need negative energy. It's not part of us, and here on earth it's something that we deal with. And I think what we're always looking for on earth is the experience of heaven. That's why that's what we're all looking for all the time. That's why we want nice things outside of us. But the true desire of wanting nice things and good experiences and that support on the outside is actually the desire for a certain inner state inside of you. Because if you think about like how you would feel if you were in your dream life on the inside, what would be different? What kind of energies would not be inside of you? What kind of worry, what kind of trauma, what kind of fear, what would the lessons be, and what would that, things that you're holding on to from the past that have, felt really dark, what would be clean inside of you if you were in your dream life today, like on the outside? How would you actually expect to feel on the inside? And what we need to learn as humans again and again is that you can get plopped into your dream life and it won't change necessarily the inside at all. A lot of people want fame for that reason. They think, oh, when I'm famous, everything's going to be fixed on the inside. And then it's not. And so a lot of famous people have killed themselves. Well, so let's not fall into that illusion. And I believe that it's really about the inner transformation. And inner transformation, by the way, isn't just energy work. It's not just getting your energy cleared or, anything like that. It's about literally like looking at like, how am I evolving and what are the lessons that I'm learning, and looking at it that way. Because if you're going to drive yourself crazy if you think that you're wrong for struggling or you're wrong for going through something, even if it's been a long time, you're going to drive yourself crazy because you're going to have that negative belief that it will never change. And that's just not true, because negative energy is not part of you. It's just not natural to you. It's not part of you. It can be cleared. And even if there's a lot of layers, like it takes like a lot of work and a lot of learning and a lot of fearlessness and a lot of change and a lot of radical action taking and clawing your way through it. Like, yeah, you'll get through it. And I can't talk about all this without talking about God, because that's what God's for. You can't get through this life alone. It's just like, it's not natural for us. It's like trying to like have a phone without a battery and never charging your phone. God is like the battery charger for us. Really, like he could do things like that would take you years to change about yourself. And it's not, I don't want to say like it's not supposed to be hard. Sometimes we get strong and we get put through different trials, and it makes us strong in a way that we need in the future to be the self that we want to be. But like, I don't think it has to necessarily, it's not like you get an award for your life being hard and struggling a lot, but like sometimes there's benefit to that. To illustrate this point, I want to talk about one of my favorite people, Jimmy Fallon, who he was on a podcast called Diary of a CEO, and he told his story, and I will link that in the description, because whether you're into comedy or you like him or not, like there's something about his story that is so relevant here, because he really did have in his life a before and after. Like, he wanted to be on Saturday Night Live his whole life, and I didn't even know about him. I just found out through this interview that he moved out to LA and he was trying to be a comedian. He had this dream of being on SNL, and I, in my mind, thought it was just a couple years, and then he got auditions, and then he was on SNL. That's what I believed until I heard this interview, and I found out that no, he was struggling for a long time, and he got to the point where he wanted to quit. And he even wrote his friend a letter, and he said, like, I'm just about, like, I don't know if I can do this, and like I'm not making any money, and like I don't even, like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he even was looking into like going back home to live with his parents for a bit, maybe tried to go back out to LA again, but he was struggling. And they talk in that interview about that moment. And when the interviewer asked him about that time and what he would tell himself, he says, like, when he looks back at that time, he realizes now, and that with that hindsight, that made him strong in a way that he needed to be on SNL, to be famous, to be the person he is now. Like, he learned lessons during that time of struggle that carried him through in the higher levels of his life. And I personally believe that you're not here to just struggle and that's it. Like, I think that it serves a purpose, and a lot of times when you're up leveling, it feels like you're walking uphill and it feels like it'll never end. But I think that those are the times when you look back on them that you're like, that really made me strong, and in a way that like I still have with me. And I'm one of those people too. Like, I'm still strong in ways like from things that I overcame that I didn't know if they would ever end. Like, I had chronic Lyme disease in my 20s. I don't even think about that much anymore, but it made me strong, you know, in certain ways that I use, I'm sure, every day now. And I wouldn't be who I am now without those struggles. And I think that when you start to look at your situation like that, it's like you realize that it can have a purpose, and you may not know that purpose. And I think my aunt, who's a nurse, described pain, physical pain, but this can apply here because it's like, it's painful to struggle. But she said the pain, when people have physical pain, the reason why they freak out is because while it's happening, they think it'll never end. And that's why they can't handle it. But if you realize, if you just came back to the present, even if you have physical pain, and you realize like it will end, and I just have to like be with this right now and deal with this and even like breathe through it. It's the fear that it'll never end that causes people to suffer. So if you're going through something right now and it feels like it'll never end, that's a really important thing for you to know, is that that's what's hurting you, you know, a lot of the time. And you have to get that out of your head that it's never going to end. because I don't think that's how this works. If you're really doing what you need to do and you're learning lessons and you're clearing your energy and you're open and you're praying and you're, going through that, fighting the good fight, like, it may take a while, it may take longer than you want it to, and you may feel like you're suffering, but guess what? Suffering means that you haven't given up. That's what it means. It means you're breaking through old patterns, you're getting into uncomfortable places that you haven't been in before, you're challenging yourself, you look at who you are even a week ago and it's like, I'm stronger now in all these ways, and I don't know what's going to come of this. I don't know the results I'm going to get, but I see progress, and that matters. And I'm going to have a breakthrough at some point. And you don't know when that is, and you don't always control when that is. But I know this, that if you give up, you don't get the breakthrough. And so I've seen this not just in my life, but in other people's stories, especially famous people have stories like this again and again and again. Successful people, it's like there's always a moment where it's like you don't know if you can do it anymore. You really don't know if you can keep doing what you're doing, because the pain again comes from thinking that it'll never end. It's like, I just can't keep doing this and nothing's happening, and I'm suffering and nothing's happening, and but if you can get through that moment, there's something very powerful about that moment. It's almost like God holds you there just for another minute, like in God time. He sees everything you're doing, he's supporting you, he's doing things that you can't even see, and he holds you there just for like another minute. It's so funny. It's almost like just to make sure you're ready. It's like just to make sure you trust him. Just to like, it's almost like when you're lifting weights and he like gets you to do like 2 more. I think a good trainer challenges you like that, because they know that you can handle it. It makes you strong, and it gives you that extra like armor before the breakthrough that you will keep with you. So I want you to think about that, and I want you to think about how, yes, we want the material things, and that matters, but the inner transformation matters just as much, and that is also what you really want. So go for the things in life and take action, and that's beautiful. I'm not like bashing the material world, but it's like we have to realize that we want both. We want the material world, but we want the inner change. We want to be a certain type of person. And so if you look at your life and the challenges and the struggles, particularly that you're going through, you're going to see that it's like extracting all these things that can't come with you. All the habits and all the things that you used to do that you just can't do anymore, that can't come to you, can't come with you in that level. It's not just about the house you live in your dream life, but who are you? What qualities do you have? How do you talk about yourself, and what habits do you live by? And that those inner things that you can have no matter what you have on the outside are so important. And I think a lot of the times the spirit world challenges us to realize that by holding back or not helping us have those things. I call this energy flows. It's like sometimes you feel like there's something that wants to come to you from the energy world. It's like whether it's money or it's an opportunity, or you can feel it kind of like the energy is real, but you haven't seen it in the reality around you yet. I call these energy flows because the reason why God doesn't just like give it to you when you're like, hello, I want it. Why doesn't he just give it to me right now? Why is because you wouldn't learn the lesson that you need to learn. You wouldn't be who you need to be. It's like the question you need to ask to unlock those types of energy flows is, what do I want really that result won't give me? So if it's money, for example, which I know is a big one for everybody, including me, like this is just something we live by in life, right? It makes a difference. But like if you want a certain amount of money, a really powerful question to ask yourself to unlock potential for money that wants to come to you and that God wants to bless you with is just that. What is it that I want that money to give me that even if I have it, it can't? What is the inside thing that I want it to give me? So you have to like make a list, write it down. you have to write it down and look at it, and you have to be like, what is it that I want this to give me? Is it confidence? Is it belief in myself? Is it like putting my work out there? Is it being fearless? Is it being like mad creative? Is it like getting really organized? Money can only do so much. It can't give you those things. And so I really believe that that's the way life is organized a lot of the time. It's like, what is the thing that you really want? And when you don't expect something to give it to you that can't, because have you ever we have all had this, that experience where you get something and then you're like, oh, it didn't give me what I really wanted. Have you ever gotten a lot of money out of nowhere and thought it would change everything and it doesn't? Right? That's happened to all of us, I think. And so God is loving. He's a loving Father. He doesn't want to disappoint us over and over again. It's not that we can't get provision, we can't even get prayers answered and get the money we need. That's not it at all. It's just that He loves us, and there is an inner transformation. There is an inner aspect to this. And I found it very powerful to unlock those blessings. You have to give yourself the inside result. You have to work at that. So that's why you write down, what are the things that I want that result to give me? And I'm going to work at creating those now. So if your list, for example, is, I think that money is going to make me more confident. Well, that's an inner result. So you have to work on being confident. And that way, God will see that you're not dependent on that. You're not living in the illusion that that's going to make you confident. And that's when it's almost like safe to bless you with it, because it's not going to hurt you at that point. You're not going to be disappointed by it at that point. And I've taught this to my clients. I've used this. I'm probably going to do it again now that I talk about it. It's really real. And it's a very simple exercise, and you'll realize how much power you have. And so God's not holding things back to hurt you or to make things hard for you. It's like He just wants you to have what's best, which is a lot of times realizing that you have a lot more than you think you have on the inside. You have a lot more ability and creativity and power that you can use. You know what I mean? And I found that if you make that specific list of what you think the outside thing will give you that it can't, and you instead work at getting those things because it's in your power to do that without having it, it will unlock. So I hope that helps you. Healing is not linear. It's not something that you can put expectations on. You can't just be like, I have to be healed by next month, or, it's like, be open to the transition, to the process, to the evolution, to the things that come up along the way, to the steps, but know that as you evolve, you don't go backwards. So I hope this helped you. If you're interested in doing a free consult with me, I do free consults right now, to look at people's energy, to tell you what's going on visually in your energy. I have the ability to see energy visually. I can draw the blocks, show you where they are, and I can tell you how I can help you with my sessions to clear those blocks out of the way, make your evolution faster. So if you're interested in that, you can click the link in the description. You can also listen to that podcast that I mentioned in the description. Highly recommend it. And I'm wishing you all the best with everything that you're doing, because if you're watching this and you watch till the end, then I know that you're ready.